Good evening, fellow students. Thanks for tuning in for the second installment of Nightly News with Ryan. I am your host, Ryan Woods, and we have a big show planned for you today. The presidential campaign is really starting to get underway and starting to take form. The public is really starting to form their opinion on the presidential candidates, and they decide whom they like and dislike. The first presidential candidate I'm going to talk about is Dan Street. This week during Dan's speech, he brought up the idea of flat rate taxes for the American people. His flat rate tax idea consisted of every American paying a certain percentage of their yearly income to the federal government. This would make it fairer than the system we already have in place, and it would give less people a reason to complain about their tax situation. Dan presented his idea in a very logical and convincing way that may have won over a good amount of the American people. The one suggestion I would give candidate Street would to practice his speeches a little more before he gets up there on the big stage in front of everyone. Next presidential candidate I'm going to talk about is Eric Greco. His speech this week consisted of trying to save the environment. He went as far to say that we are self-destructing our own society. Clearly there needs to be some change in the way we are doing things with the environment. Eric's main solution to the problem is to promote research to finding ways to save the environment, and he says there will be tax cuts for the companies and people who do this. The next presidential candidate is Jake Hirschman. He had the first press conference this week, and his main topic focused on green energy. The overwhelming theme of the speech was the way we need to get away from fossil fuels and take advantage of natural resources that are renewable in our environment. Also, Jake pulled out the jobs card and said that if we incorporate green energy into the economy, it will create many new jobs for the American people. Finally, the last presidential candidate I heard from this week was Dave Anderson. Once again, like we heard from all of our candidates, Dave centered his speech around the environment. He believes global warming is real, and if we do not cut back on pollution and greenhouse gases, it could really start to affect the world in a negative way, more than it already has. The only problem was that Dave did not really give any clear-cut reasons on how to do anything about these problems. But he did make up for it with his nice shirt and tie. Looking good, Dave. Well, there you have it. This has been your Nightly News with Ryan Woods. Good night, America.